I stand by what I said. I apologize for nothing.
A lot of notes. So, first of all, this is Thursday, not Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because Tuesday, someone decided to puke his guts out in the morning.
Someone decided.
Yes.
That's how we're rewriting history?
Yes.
Okay, Wanda.
Okay.
Oh, you're cool with this. Okay.
All right. I relate.
Interesting.
Anyway, so, episode 5.
I think so.
On a very special episode. Then, get Monica's backstory, which, by the way, hold the phone, rewind. Duh. It was Monica Rambeau, Maria Rambeau's daughter. Maria Rambeau was
Oh, right.
Carol Danvers, a.k.a. Captain Marvel's BFF.
Right. We didn't address
Tie-in.
that. Yeah.
Didn't figure that one out until we watched New Rock Stars.
Yeah.
And I felt like a dummy because I was like, Maria Rambeau. Like the way that they were doing the whole like sword Maria Rambeau thing, I'm like, should we know who that is?
Probably no. Like, it seemed they acted like it was a big reveal, and we're just sitting there like, bleh.
But yeah, so.
Whoops.
Whoopsie.
Whoopsie.
So. Then we get the 80s intro. It was very Growing Pains-esque.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because, Growing Pains did the whole, like, baby montage of the parents and the kids. And we keep holding on together.
Yeah, I watched Growing Pains, but...
I don't think I can talk to you anymore.
It's gonna make our next, 40 years together real awkward.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway. So yeah, you mentioned, the babies are looking a couple months old.
Yeah.
Even though they were just born. They're crying, haven't slept in days.
Has it been days, guys?
Yeah. It's like, she asks Vision to go get their binkies, and they put them down, and she's like, parents aren't supposed to take shortcuts, but in this case, I'll make an exception. So she tries to get them to sleep, whatever, her magic isn't working. She's like, we need some help. Suddenly, Agnes! So there's this really bizarre moment in this scene where Agnes is like, oh, so yeah, that was it. So Agnes is like, do you want me to, do something? And it looked like she did the same kind of thing instead of going to pick them up. And Vision caught that.
Oh,
okay. And he's like, no, I mean, have you washed your hands? Pick them up, whatever. And Agnes kind of stops, looks at Wanda, and she's like, want me to take that again? Should we just take that from the top? And Wanda's kind of looking at her like, huh? Like, she doesn't really know what's going on.
Well, I got the feeling that Wanda was looking at her kind of horrified, like, my magic isn't working, I can't do that, kind of a thing. That was my impression of the look that Wanda was giving her.
Yeah. Okay.
But, of course, Vision is right there and take all this in like, hell are you two talking about?
Yeah. And so he's confused. He won't let it go. And they're kind of on the verge of an argument about it. And then he's like...
She was just confused. Agnes, she's just being neighborly, doing that whole thing.
Yeah. Suddenly, he's like, do you hear that? What? They're not crying. They look, and the twins, you say they're like 8, but they're like 5.
I have no concept of time.
Yeah. So, the kids, suddenly aged.
Show up, obviously, outside their cribs, like they just came down the stairs, and they're like, hi, Mommy.
Yeah. And Agnes is just sitting there
Yeah.
with her booze. Kids can't control them no matter how hard you try.
Mm-hmm.
That was pointed.
Yep.
So
Especially given what we've watched with new rock stars, which, is spoilery, but whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. So then we have this postcard 80s intro, very growing pains. Baby vision!
One of the postcards had, like, little baby with the vision head. It's just like,
Making It Up As We Go is in the intro song.
which that kind of came out later on
Yeah.
in the way when Wanda was talking about everything, but we'll get there.
Yeah. But then we flash back to Monica in the real world. So they are now kind of, they've got two storylines going now.
Mm-hmm.
Same storyline, but two different perspectives.
Inside Westview and outside.
Hence the 42-minute runtime as
Yeah.
opposed to the,
25 to 30.
39, whatever. She was saying she felt pain and then Wanda's voice. She's getting tested and they all come back blank. And the gal who was running the test was like, oh, we need to run more tests. And Monica's like, nah, fuck that.
No, I'm done.
We're done here. Literally, that's what she said. And there's a sword briefing. And the guy running sword, who I am increasingly untrusting of,
Well, yeah.
is calling Wanda the main antagonist. There's some clear tension between Tyler, his name, and Woo. Jimmy Woo, yeah. Jimmy is, giving his part of the briefing, and he's like, well, because Tyler is painting Wanda as, like, this terrorist, like what she was before she joined the Avengers. And Jimmy is like, yeah, she was, but then she became an Avenger. Like, she was on our side, right? And Tyler's just having none of this. He's, like, shutting Jimmy down. Jimmy goes back to Darcy, and he's like, I don't like to speak ill of others. And Darcy's like, he's being a dick. He's like, I love Darcy just calling it out.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand her. I mean, we never even really watched it, but that Two Broke Girls, Kat Dennings, was just like, oh, you're so annoying. But I've really enjoyed her in the Marvel Universe.
Yes. She's well cast playing a character that she seems to have been born to play.
Yeah.
I mean, how does that random character get pulled into a show like this?
Yeah. Even in Thor, like, it was just that hint of sarcasm, like, and that's something you kind of need, that grounding of what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
But so you said Wanda was never called Scarlet Witch?
Yeah, they had this moment, Jimmy and Tyler, where Jimmy was like, well, she was an Avenger, and he was like, oh, really? What was her superhero name? She didn't have any cool nickname or anything? And Jimmy was like, no. So that's why I was like, oh, I guess she was never called Scarlet Witch in the Avengers, technically, even though everybody knew she was Scarlet Witch.
Interesting. Yeah. So basically, he's calling Wanda a terrorist, but Monica disagrees, which is interesting because Monica was the one that got the full force of the blast from her.
Right, and
but,
her power and everything.
Yeah, but she has a real insight as to the grief that Wanda is feeling, and
she's arguing that Wanda could have killed her, but she's like, no, Wanda protected me when she blasted her out. Basically like, hey guys, I was blasted through 4 walls and I got back up. There's a reason for that. Wanda protected me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which makes sense. It actually kind of fixes what could be considered a continuity issue.
Yeah.
Like, no, people don't survive that. Well, no, Wanda broke the wall herself and pushed her outside of Westview.
Yeah. But then Tyler shows them all this footage of Wanda breaking in and stealing Vision's dead body. violates the Sokovia Accords and Vision's will. He didn't want to be used as a weapon. How'd she do it without the Mind Stone? Like, and we're seeing that from Vision too. Like, he's starting to get that there's something going on, and he's not on board with it.
Which is making it, that combined with the fact that she actually stole his body is making it more apparent that it is Vision. He doesn't have any memories, but he is autonomous. He
can't be controlled.
No. He can be manipulated, but not controlled.
Yeah, and the last, not the last episode, but the episode before with the 70s, before they had that little break, an insight into, what's going on with Sword. They sit at, let's sit and watch TV, and he sits down and he looks warily at
the
camera. Kind of in a help me sort of way. And I'm still not 100% convinced that Wanda is totally behind it. I mean, she is, as we'll discuss later, but she's definitely being manipulated. You all right?
I was bored with my martini, so I wanted to inhale it.
Ah.
Literally. Lungs are not prepared for that. Okay. Now I'll swallow my cigarette.
Oh, okay.
For symmetry.
Yeah. So, back to the episode. The boys find a dog. Sparky.
Who they named Sparky, because I didn't quite catch it, but he went near an outlet and it sparked or something.
He played with an outlet. Vision shows up after they get a dog because he predicts Agnes will appear with the item they need. And she does. And Wanda does magic in front of her. And Vision's like, what the hell? Why did you do that? Agnes is standing right there. And she's like, oh, she didn't even notice. And she says they shouldn't hide it from Agnes. She doesn't want to hide her magic anymore. But she's like, well, And about the dog, she tells the kids, you're too young. The responsibility is too much for you. You're too young. So then they age in front of everyone to about 10 years. 10 years old. They didn't age 10 years, but they aged to 10 years old.
Right, because Wanda and Vision were like, you're not ready to care for a dog until you're at least
10 years old.
Vision's like, 10 years old. And they look at each other and then just age to 10. This is like, oh, okay.
And Agnes is just like, whatever.
So yeah, Agnes is,
well, at least the dog will stay small.
yeah,
And she's completely nonplussed.
yeah, cracking jokes about it.
Yeah.
Totally being very in universe about it, I guess.
Yeah. So jump to the side story, I guess. Monica's prepping to go in. She's talking about, like, okay, this is what I need to get in. And she says something interesting. She's like, I've got an aerodynamics guy that can help us with this. And
Aeronautics
guy that can help with this, and I'm wondering who that is.
Yeah.
If it's somebody that we know.
Yeah, that's a very good
in universe.
point.
So.
Yeah, probably somebody from Captain Marvel. I mean, her mom and Captain Marvel were pilots. So
Carol.
Yeah, Carol. So Monica was kind of raised in that lifestyle. So probably somebody we met from there.
Maybe.
New Rockstars probably knows who it is.
Yeah.
So
he'll spoil us.
Mm-hmm.
There's a debate between Jimmy and Darcy and Monica as to whether or not the twins are real. Wu brings up Captain Marvel, and Darcy's like, yeah, I mean, did she have one of the Infinity Stones? And Monica shuts that down real quick. She's like, does not want to talk about her. She's like, we're not talking about Captain Marvel. So there's clearly some sort of resentment there, like a kind of you left me sort of thing.
Or you could have saved my mom, or you could have prevented the blip, all kinds of stuff.
Something.
Yeah.
So it almost makes me wonder if we'll see Captain Marvel
in this show.
Maybe.
If nothing else, we'll probably see Monica and Captain Marvel too.
Yeah. So then they're talking about stuff that is a little hard to follow, but materialization, and Monica realizes what she was wearing. She's like, take me to the lab. Finds out her wardrobe made it out of the hex, and were bulletproof. She was wearing a bulletproof vest when she went in, and the hex is like inside.
Westview.
Yeah,
it's Westview. And so the conclusion is you're wearing a bulletproof vest going in, you were converted to wearing era-appropriate clothing, but it was manipulated from the clothing you were wearing.
Yeah.
So her clothes, which she tests by shooting them, are bulletproof. So they realize that
she manipulates matter.
She manipulates matter to make it accommodate whatever era it is. And so with that knowledge...
Well, you said also Commodore 64.
Oh, yes. So now we jump back to Vision's at work, and...
They have internet.
Yes. So they have these fancy computers, and Vision's talking about, someday you'll be able to meet a wife on that thing. And, like, kind of giving some future knowledge about what computers will be able to do.
Yeah.
Well,
Norm was like, oh, will I be able to find a wife with this? And Vision's like, oh, someday. Which shows that Vision is more aware than he even realizes.
Yeah.
And he gets that. And he mind freeze Norm, breaks Wanda's hold, and real Norm starts freaking out. Like, where's my phone?
I need to check on my wife.
My sister. I need to call my sister. My dad is dying, and I hurt. It hurts. And then Vision
snaps him back.
And
so he just goes back into work talk.
Yeah.
I was excited about the Commodore 64 because I was raised on one. Good, fun games. I go back to them every now and again. Yeah. That's what it was predominantly used for. I'm surprised to see a Commodore 64 at their workplace.
So they have a scene with Wanda and the twins. They're playing with Sparky. Twins disagree with Wanda about what day it is. They're like, it's Saturday. She's like, no, it's Monday.
No, that your father's at work. They're like, what? It's Saturday. No, it's Monday.
Well, he had to go in for an emergency work thing on a Saturday.
Yeah.
She can't control the twins either.
Mm-hmm.
She talks about she and Vision are not on the same page.
Which is terminology that Vision had used earlier in the episode. Wanda, you and I are not on the same page. We usually are. So, that's why I made note of it.
And she's talking to the twins, like, you fight, but, your brother will always be there for you. Do you have a brother? I do. But he's far away from here. And I miss him, and I get very sad about it sometimes. Very interesting. But then, Sword flies an 80s drone into the Hex successfully. Although the computers don't look like 80s computers, you said.
Yeah. But it's not manipulated or changed because it fits with the era. That was Monica's plan, and it works.
But it's not on the broadcast.
No.
Wanda's shielding it. Huh?
Huh.
Monica starts speaking to Wanda over the speaker. Like, I just want to talk. And then Tyler's like, take the shot. What? Now you fucked up. Fucked up. You have fucked up now.
So.
Because then there's a breach. They all go to the field where the thing is, the force field or whatever, and who comes out but Wanda.
Fucking full Scarlet Witch style.
Yeah. No, you have fucked up. This yours? With the drone.
Carrying a tiny drone, just tosses it. This yours?
She's like, don't bother me in my home. There's this whole thing where Wanda's like, or Monica's like, I want to help you. What do you want? Wanda's like, just leave me alone. Like, she wants this because she wants what she couldn't have.
Yeah. Family. It was stolen from her childhood.
Wanda with her accent threatens Monica. Monica says Wanda will turn to town. You know what I want, and no one will ever take it from me again.
Yeah, that again is very telling. What she wants is a life with Vision. Saying Vision was taken from me. That's what I took from that. Although
Pietro was taken from her. Her parents were taken from her.
Her whole, again, a family life was taken from her. A childhood was taken from her. Experiencing the last however many years of her life was taken from her. Like, that won't be taken from me again. So she's created this whole thing to just experience a normal American life. And I bring that up because she came out with her accent. Like, it's still there, but it's not there in her world, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. So, then we have a commercial break. Lagos brand paper towels for when you make a mess you didn't mean to. Red liquid.
Yeah. In the commercials, they're cleaning up red liquid with the
cranberry juice or whatever.
Yeah.
Lagos.
That didn't mean anything to me.
Neither did it to me, but I'm sure new rock stars will set us straight.
They'll educate us. Name dropping a lot here.
Yeah. And back to the show. Looking for Sparky. Agnes finds the dog dead after eating azalea leaves.
Yeah. That was... I mean, I think that is a thing. I feel like I've heard that azaleas are...
poisonous to pets?
Yeah, but I don't know. That was kind of random.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I just found your dead dog.
Yeah, it's like she just kind of pops out of the bush with a dog wrapped up in cloth, like, sorry, he's dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
The kids just...
Who's driving the plot here?
Right. The kids give each other a look like, all right, let's do this. And Wanda tells them, no, don't age up. You can fix anything, Mom. You can fix the dead. Agnes, you can do that? And then Vision shows up.
Yeah. So, Agnes's line was very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because she was being played off like maybe the controller of all this, but she's clearly very interested in what Wanda can and can't do. Bring Ralph back? I don't know.
Oh. So Wanda, some things are forever. Twins, bring him back, Mom. Vision, bring who back? R.I.P. Sparky.
Again, very poignant with Vision saying, bring who back? So, Wanda telling the kids about sometimes things die and you have to be willing to let go.
She's never been able to.
Mm-mm. And she was very introspective about it, but also lying to herself.
I mean, she feels death. She felt when Pietro died.
Mm-hmm.
That.
Right, yeah.
So then we cut to Wanda's putting dog toys away. Vision comes in. And this is such an intense scene where you have your 80s sitcom credit roll, but it's not ending that way at all. Vision confronts Wanda about his co-worker's reveal, Norm's reveal.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "You can't control me." Wanda says, "Can't I?" Credits roll. Vision breaks through. There's an argument. Why are there no other children in Westview? Wanda claims not to know how it started. The doorbell rings. Wanda says, "I didn't do that." Vision's like, "I want to believe that." Then he says something about statistics. Statistically, like, I want to believe you. And then he says something about statistics that I can't remember. Because, computer.
Statistically, that hasn't, played out well. Like, basically saying, you've been lying to me, so statistically I can't believe what you're saying.
Right. It's cut. Alarms are going off in the real world.
Right, so they go to check to see who's at the door. She opens the door, she looks shocked, and then they go back to outside the hex.
But then Darcy goes to the TV and sees who it is. It's Petro. But Darcy says, she recast Petro? And then you said, "Who's the popsicle?"
That was Pietro's last line to,
Oh, yeah.
looking at Vision, goes, "Who's the popsicle?" I don't know what that means, but it was probably poignant.
Yeah. But apparently... So that's interesting, because Darcy says she recast Petro. Wanda wouldn't have done that.
Mm-hmm.
No, she wouldn't have done that. She would have brought him back. She wouldn't have recast him.
If she had the power to,
if she had the power to bring him back as he, she would have. But she was as shocked as anyone. She didn't recast him.
But she also hugged him. Like, she didn't... So, apparently this isn't the same actor, because it's been a long time since I've seen that movie. But she didn't flinch at seeing him and accepting that it was Pietro. She hugged him and was like, "Pietro," and, like, eyes filling with tears and the whole deal. So... that says to me that this isn't her world as much as we think it is.
Right, then that's my point too.
I mean, because, yeah, okay.
Okay, so she accepts it.
She accepts it, right.
If this were her world, she'd be like,
"Who are you?
The fuck?"
Yeah, no, you're not him.
Okay, alright, so we are on the same page.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because it seems like because, again, she needed Vision's corpse. If she needs to have somebody who is dead, she needs to reanimate. She's not creating new beings out of nothing. Even the twins are real. Somehow.
Well, and Vision isn't even a real body.
Right, and that was the whole Mind Stone conversation. Yeah. If we want to equate a soul with the Mind Stone, which essentially it is Vision's soul, what's giving him the spark? What's powering him? It seems like it's Wanda, but if she has that level of power, why can't she just recreate him fully or recreate Pietro fully? She's a mind controller. And to a certain degree, a perception controller. But...
So, Vision was never a human body. he can't make babies ever, even alive or dead. And that scene at the end of the previous episode where he comes back in the house. Oh, where's Geraldine? And the dead face. She can, to a certain extent, reanimate him because he's not an actual dead body. And that's why she told the boys, I can't do that.
Because she knows he's not alive, at least not by her power. But he's thinking... Oh, go ahead.
What I'm saying, Sparky is a biological being. Vision isn't.
Sure.
You see where I'm going?
Yeah. Okay. She can't actually reanimate an organic dead being. She can Weekend at Bernie's vision a bit. At least she thinks that's what she's doing. I'm no longer convinced that's what she's doing. But she acknowledges that she cannot bring a dead being back to life. So, and I guess, Sparky the dog was a dog that actually was in this town. I still don't understand really what's up with him randomly dying. That might come back, but...
Yeah. So. That's all I got.
All right. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Let's go be told everything we missed.